Brantley here with the Independent Sponsor Update. Welcome back to another edition brought to you by Frisch Capital Partners, where every day Frisch Capital is helping independent sponsors put together the capital that they need to successfully close their transactions. Bob, welcome back to the show again today.
Thanks, Drew.
So today I want us to talk about choosing the right partner, because when an independent sponsor selects a capital partner, it is essentially a marriage for the life of that connection, for the life of the amount of time that everybody's involved in that company. 3, 5, 7 years, however long. What do independent sponsors need to think about?
Well, one of the things independent sponsors have to realize is we're gone at that point. The closing has happened. Our purpose, Frisch Capital, raise the capital, documentation, closing, due diligence, etc., etc. And now they're married to that partner. That partner will have the majority of the board, usually, almost always. The independent sponsor certainly has a promote and certainly has equity,
and board seats.
But as a general rule, almost always the capital provider, the equity provider, has majority control.
Unless the independent sponsor is writing a huge check at closing,
exactly.
Which usually they're not.
They're not.
Exactly.
So as a result, the independent sponsor has to understand that that partner up at the board level, has a lot of control, or has a certain amount of control. They have to get along. They have to like them. They have to like the way they think. They're going to be together deciding the future of this company. Do they make an acquisition? Do they raise more capital? Do they sit there and sell a division? There are a lot of choices that'll go on where that partner has the majority control over that decision. So it's critical who the partner is.
So as somebody's thinking through it, what are some of the things they need to consider ahead of time? Because I'm guessing not all capital partners are going to be the same type of partner. Not everybody's equal, correct?
Yeah, you've got a good point there. One of the things the independent sponsor really has to think about is who do they want as their partner? What type of partner? Do they want somebody that has tremendous hands-on? Do they want a partner that has a lot of experience in the industry? But whoa, wait a second here. Some independent sponsors don't want that. They don't want somebody that has a lot of experience in telling them what to do. Why? Because they already have experience in the industry. They already know a lot of things themselves, and they don't want to have somebody else. So we've had transactions where we're purposely told not to go to capital sources that have portfolio companies or want to do only deals in that industry. We've had other people tell us just the opposite. Get me somebody that understands this industry. Get me somebody that's really going to value add to the independent sponsor with whatever they're bringing to the table. So it cuts both ways. They've got to decide what kind of partner they want.
So even before they get the LOI, they need to be thinking through, what's the type of partner that I want?
Yeah, and they have to be careful. This is critical. They're going to be introducing that capital partner to the seller at some point. Obviously,
Sure.
They have to. That capital partner is providing the capital, if you have it, and they've got to think about how that capital provider is going to behave. Some behave better than others. They're just like human beings. Some of them can be jerks. I hate to say it, some of them can be jerks. We know a lot of different capital providers. We know a lot of the ones that are jerks, and you better be careful. We also know the ones that behave phenomenally well and will help the independent sponsor make sure they continue to have the seller engaged in the transaction.
All right, so let's dive into this, because an independent sponsor is very emotionally charged or connected or engaged into the transaction. They want it to be successful. Independent sponsors are looking through their transaction in a specific lens.
Cool.
Let's talk about the relationship with the potential capital partners and some things that have gone well or not so well, or some things to look out for and how they can kind of overcome those.
Yeah, one of the things we do with all our independent sponsors, not only are we on the conference calls, but we attend the meetings. There are a lot of meetings that take place with a capital provider where we're hearing a very different call it nuances,
Okay.
that the capital provider is saying, read between the lines. We know how to do that. We do that every day. We've been in it for over 20 years. We read between the lines. So we can actually read whether they're interested, how interested, or whether they're just sort of, what's the word, sort of showing a good face, but really they're
Keeping
not
you at
that
arm's
interested.
distance.
Yeah, not that interested. And we can advise our independent sponsors extraordinarily well, in my opinion, as to how that capital provider is going to get to the finish line, or whether they're going to get to the finish line. We've gone to meetings where we've come out, the independent sponsor has said that meeting went really well, and I've actually thought, no, it didn't go well at all. Those guys are not going to get to the finish line. There's a lot of things they said that are subtle, but they're not there yet.
But because you're in the market every day, you're in these meetings on a regular basis, you were able to pick up on that where the independent sponsor didn't quite connect with that same thing.
Or, and believe it or not, just the opposite, where the independent sponsor comes out of the meeting and says, that didn't go well at all. And I cautioned them. I said, no, it went very well. Yes, they asked them tough questions, but those are tough questions that you answered extraordinarily well, and they got over that hurdle. So it all depends on the capital provider and having that sort of translation many times as to which capital provider will get to the finish line, will make a good partner, et cetera, et cetera. That's critical.
Gotcha. All right, so there you have it. Independent sponsors, 2 things to know about choosing the right partner. 1, clearly identify what it is you're looking for out of a partner. Do you want somebody that's engaged? Do you want somebody that's a little more hands-off? Do you want somebody with expertise? Whatever it is, clearly identify what you want. And then have somebody like Frisch Capital that can help interpret what's going on throughout the process as you're selecting that capital partner, so that you make sure you make the right choice for your next transaction. Thanks again, guys, for watching another episode of the Independent Sponsor Update. Be sure to check out our other videos with tips, techniques, and tools to help successfully close your transactions as an independent sponsor. And thanks again for watching. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Drew.
Appreciate it.